welcome to the MOSHAPE Minute. This is the special edition, and I am Guy Danoff. And today we are going to learn a lot more about PE teachers, as well as a very cool program with Active Schools. And I'd like to bring in our guest right now. And we're going to be joined today by Anna Forsalito. Anna is the MOSHAPE president-elect. And also we're joined by Charlene Burgeson. She's the executive director of Active Schools and also a former physical education teachers. And ladies, how are you?
Doing well, Guy. How are you doing today?
You know what? This is a great day. It's an exciting day. We have Charlene with us. And of course, Anna, anytime you're on camera, it's always a good thing. So Charlene, how are you doing?
I'm doing great too. It's a beautiful sunny day here.
All right. So why don't you give us a little bit of background of you and how you started this program?
Sure. So, as you already said, I started out as a physical education teacher, and while my path has taken me different places, it's always been in support of physical education. And the Active Schools movement is about bringing together lots of different organizations and people who care about increasing physical education in schools. And why? Why do we all do that? Because we know how important it is for kids. We understand that there's physical, social, and emotional benefits, and that it's everything from the joy of movement to the health of movement to spending time with friends and teammates and just really using our bodies and exploring the way we can move.
So with that, Charlene, talk to us a little bit about the pandemic. We know it's created challenges for everyone, but how has your organization been able to help and assist with, obviously, physical educators?
Right. So Active Schools is more of a platform for getting the word out about how important it is that kids have physical education. And then you have organizations like Shape America and Open and others who really get into the supporting how to do that. And so that's why we're so excited about having the PE Moving Forward social media campaign, because it's a way for all the organizations and our networks to really state publicly, hey, physical education is critical. This is what it is. This is why we do it. And these are the great people, the PE teachers, that are making it happen.
So Charlene, talk to us about, obviously social media is very near and dear to me, obviously, as, being one of our managers here at MOSHAPE. And the question I have is, talk to us about what's going on in March, as I know that, Active Schools is doing a big campaign this month. I was wondering if you could maybe break it down for us.
I sure can. And, and I'll start out by saying that we're so excited to use social media because we reach so many people and there's so many things we can do with it. But I want the physical educators out there to know that if we had the money to put a full page ad in the New York Times or the Washington Post, we'd be doing that too. That's how much we care. And so the campaign itself is really targeted mainly at parents because of the huge role that they play in what goes on in their kids' school and in the district, and just reminding them of the power of their voice. Now, that being said, this campaign also applies to principals and just any citizen, any taxpayer who knows how important it is for kids to move and to become physically educated. And so what we're doing is asking people to share their stories. And week one, we just finished week one, although nothing is confined to a week, so please keep doing everything. Week one was called Show Us Your PE. And so whether it was a PE teacher posting something or a parent maybe posting what virtual PE looks like in their home, anything at all, it was about words and videos and photos that tell the story of this innovative, wonderful thing called physical education. And then we're just starting week two, and now week two is all about recognizing and honoring and celebrating our physical education teachers. So again, anyone can participate in this. A parent can, a colleague can call out their great physical education teacher colleague. And we just want to hear, what people have to say about why and how a physical education teacher really has made a difference for their child in general, and then during the pandemic too, because our physical educators and all of our teachers have been doing yeoman's work to adapt and to reach kids and their families during this pandemic.
Absolutely. And we're going to bring in Anna. And Anna, obviously, you were recently interviewed. That came out. We're actually going to re-air that tomorrow. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that experience? Because I know they asked you the infamous why question. So talk to us a little bit about your experience with that interview.
Absolutely. Thanks, Guy. And Charlene, thank you so much for doing this interview today. We really appreciate you just taking the time to share why this is such a big deal. And I had the honor of being interviewed by Lauren last week or so about it. And it was just a really great conversation that we were able to have. And being a PE teacher myself, I teach 7th grade health and physical education, and the bell just ran off and we're in-person learning. So you can hear I'm in the middle of the transitions right now. But I really, we've been in the middle of this whole time, right? At the forefront, on the front lines of seeing how it affects our kids and affects each other as colleagues and as educators online, on social media, and in person for that matter, and how it's affected our kids' families. And, but I think, people I see, PE teachers are heroes. And while I'm not really sure about what that is, unsure about that, but I would love to hear what you feel, why you feel like we would be considered heroes. I think we just do what we do. We love what we do. We love our kids, and we love why we do what we do. And so some people, we've been in the trenches, and it's been very, I think, active, to play on the words of PE and active schools. So I'm just shifting and pivoting at a dime. So would you like to share with us about the PE teachers are heroes?
I sure would. I would love to do that. So first and foremost, all teachers are heroes, and they are heroes 365 days a year, every year. They are educating and building character in our youth for the future. So teachers are always heroes. One of the things you just said, Anna, was, we just do what we do. We're not heroes. This is our job type thing. That is exactly why you're a hero, because you do what you do, and you do it for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it unselfishly, day after day. And that's what makes you a hero. And honestly, anyone on the front lines during the pandemic is an extraordinary hero. Some of us sit behind a computer and do our work all day, and I'm not coming in contact with people, a lot of other people. But our teachers have to adapt to this very unusual way of educating our children, a way that they were not taught to do, and the way that they don't have experience doing. And so making all those adaptations, making PE meaningful for both kids and their families, and then taking care of your own self and your own family on top of that. It's a lot to ask, and we have asked it of teachers, and we want to celebrate them.
Charlene, that's really near and dear to my heart. Also, being a college educator, obviously I'm not a physical educator, but I'm a college educator, working with exercise science and students that certainly go on also and teach. But to your point, you made a really good point that, look, none of us went to school for being able to teach virtually. It's certainly not part of the major or the curriculum. It may be moving forward in universities, but not right now. But I think the other piece, and I can say this from all the interviews that I do with Missouri Healthy Schools, is we bring on a lot of experts that talk about that SEL piece, especially that social emotional well-being. We know where those statistics are. They've quadrupled in terms of students having anxiety, but also even teachers in that self-care. And Anna has been part of some self-care that we've been doing in our state at MOSHAPE, as well as supporting Shape America. So with that, I'm really glad that you touched on that. So what's coming up next? Talk to us. This amazing event coming up, and here you go. This is pretty exciting. I know I got fired up when I was reading about it.
Yeah. So just a couple minutes ago, I talked about these themes we have for the first 2 weeks of the month. And what we're building up to for the full month is that we want parents to embrace their role as advocates and to be equipped to be an advocate. And so on March 15th, at 3 p.m. Eastern time, we have a free webinar available to parents or anyone who's interested about how they can advocate for physical education. And the really cool part is we have our great friends from Shape America who are experts in advocacy, giving examples at the school level and the district level. But then the superstars are going to be that we have some parents in the field who have advocated at the school and district levels telling their story. So making it real. You know, if we have parents out there who think, oh, I love physical education for my children, but I'm not an advocate. That's not my thing. Guess what? Everyone's an advocate. And we're going to make it so practical and so real. So we want people to join the webinar. And we're going to record it, and we'll have it available. But we also have a registration, so come to our website to register for it. And then the 2 weeks following the webinar, we're going to be continually encouraging parents to take some advocacy actions during the rest of the month and beyond.
That's awesome, Charlene. And thank you so much for sharing all that. And I want to ask you about resources that you would like to share, some important resources. And right before I do that, I also want to just say thank you for, Guy, you're reading my mind again about the SEL component, because I almost chimed in and said about how, you know, we've been able to touch about that and the self-care and just talk about SEL. And, you know, what I love about our profession is that SEL has always been deeply rooted in health and physical education. And it's really just the cornerstone of what makes our profession and what we do the most important profession, and why the most important profession, the most important subject that kids can have in order to have a high quality education. So it's allowed our, you know, us to shine and to show what we do and why we really do it, and building relationships and getting to know the kids, and that allows them to be more active and just really promote that piece of it. So thank you guys so much for sharing that part. I really appreciate it. So with that, Charlene, would you please share some of your wonderful resources? Where can we find some more stuff about what's going to be happening this month?
You bet. So first, just to follow up with what you said, Anna, I mean, we're the people who connect body and mind, right? And what more important job could there be?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we just hope that everyone will get on board during PE Moving Forward campaign and share their stories and take some advocacy actions. And you can see the URL on your screen. And then Active Schools, of course, has a media presence year round. So if you take off the hashtag or the / PE Moving Forward part, and you can go to our landing page of our regular website all year round. We have resources. We identify our partner organizations' grants. And so I know physical education teachers always need grants. We have a lot of things there for you. And specific to the website for the campaign, at the bottom of the page, we really identified 5 key resources. And a couple of those are from Shape America. So we know who knows their stuff, and we put the best of the best stuff up there. So, and it's not a long list, it's a short list, and that's by design. So people will actually look at all 5 items. So that's where you find the resources.
And then Charlene, of course, I wouldn't be me for someone who teaches about zagging all the time. So talk to us about where people can jump in the action right on Twitter, right on social media. Talk to us about the dedicated hashtag that you're going to have, not just for this month, but moving forward, no pun intended.
Yeah, so this month's hashtag is PE Moving Forward. And, since we started this campaign a week ago, you can go on Twitter and Facebook and search by the hashtag and already see a lot of stuff up there. So if you want to get motivated to become an active part of it, check out what people are saying already and then add your voice. And, you can tag anyone along with it. We're at Active Schools US, and then there's, the Shape America has their tag, your state association of Shape or AFERD has their tag, your school, your district, make it personal. You'll come up on the radar screen of a lot of those groups. And when you, if you give your PE teachers a shout out, definitely tag either their personal Twitter or their school's Twitter. Because we want, like I said, we want parents and decision makers to see these names and these statements come up too.
Wow, this is interesting. You just had a blackout.
You're back.
That is bizarre. I've never actually had that happen before.
Me earlier.
I tell you what, a blackout in my own office. I'm not sure what to think there. But Charlene, with that, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on the screen because this is where, again, you can catch all the action, certainly on Twitter and on the other social media channels at Active Schools US. So I wanted to make sure that I got that on the screen for everyone. And Charlene, we just really want to thank you for taking the time and certainly all that you're doing for certainly the profession nationwide and the heart that you have. And I know the relationships you have with some of the other groups from going to your website and seeing some familiar faces of some folks that, we know. And Anna, it's always great having you on. I'm glad that you were part of this last week as you were certainly interviewed by Lauren, and we'll also get that interview back out again this week. And I think it'd only be fitting, Charlene, is there any final word you'd like to say?
Yeah, I think you just set me up for it. It takes a village, right? I appreciate the nice words, but we're all in this together, and it takes a village, and we just have to each do our part, and we will help our schools and our districts to prioritize physical education. So let's go.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So with that, I just want to thank my guests, Charlene and Anna, for joining us. And my name is Guy. Now, if you want to thank you watching the MOSHAPE Minutes Special Edition. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.